The information I've gleaned for this section was concerning a 9-year-old boy who was diagnosed with ADHD and oppositional defiant disorder at age 6 in kindergarten. The mom and dad started noticing there's something different going on when he was about 4, but didn't actually get the diagnosis until age 6. And then again, recently at age 9, they received an additional diagnosis of high-functioning autism, sensory disorders, as well as learning disabilities. To these parents, the diagnosis was a relief because it explained so much of his behavior. They made the choice to medicate him at that time, which helped put the brakes on and make logical decisions. And then they eventually shared with him that he did have attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, and also shared with him all the famous people that have ADHD and are successful in life. It was particularly interesting to him that the lead singer of the group Maroon 5 also has ADHD. Then his mom began to research ADHD right away. He bought tons of books, read lots of articles, and she signed up for the CHAD group and even enrolled in their parent-to-parent class. CHAD is the national organization that helps adults and children with attention deficit disorder, CHADD. They have local support groups and a ton of resources that these parents found very helpful. So, even though they were beginning to find their way, there were still behaviors that didn't make any sense. So the mom thought that there was more going on, and at the urging of her pediatrician, they sought out a psychologist who then could do some tests for autism. You know, she said that while you suspect your child might have autism, there's nothing that can quite prepare you for the moment when you're told. And they were also told at that time that the test showed depression as well. And they were stunned. Now, this mom said she felt like a part of her died that day. The life she knew, the life she hoped for and imagined for her family was no longer a reality. She said she started to recognize behaviors everywhere and now sees children with autism all around her. She dealt with many questions and even feelings of guilt. Was it something she'd done wrong? How did it happen? Was it hereditary? She felt lots of guilt and shame, and she carried him, she said, in her pregnancy. She had preeclampsia, so she felt like it was her fault. I want to emphasize here that Dr. Paul Wang from Autism Speaks emphasizes that mothers should not feel guilty because many factors are out of their control. And so guilt is not a helpful emotion to be dealing with here. Questions that scrolled through her mind were such things as, will he have friends that won't tease him? Will he be able to drive and do all the things that neurotypical kids can do? Will he be able to go to college and function on his own? How do we afford all these treatments and sessions, and how long will he need them? She's concerned she didn't get a diagnosis early enough since the experts recommend early intervention. And I think it's important to note that dwelling on your fears is not productive or helpful, and taking on self-condemnation only uses up important energy that's needed to do the things that are necessary to take care of yourself and your family. So don't let yourself get caught up in negativity. Try to adopt the philosophy that it is what it is, and then how do I move forward? This is the best use of your mental, emotional, and physical energy. Otherwise, you're at risk for feeling burnout. Take care of yourself and be gentle with yourself. One additional disappointment they experienced was that their son was turned down for an IEP, an individualized education program, because he's actually performing at academic standards. So however, he did qualify for the 504 plan, which is a good alternative offering supportive services to students. And he's had one of these types of plans in place since kindergarten. It's important for you to be informed as to what your options are as a parent. And we'll discuss more of this on the video interview with the special ed teacher, so stay tuned for that. As it is with most of our parents, they found the most support from other parents in similar situations. Those parents understand the situation like no one else. Parents who are further down the road on this journey gave them hope, and their family can not only survive, but thrive. These parents say that besides the multitude of appointments, therapies, and coordinating the doctors and the school administration, and the sheer amount of money that they pay each week for medication and therapies, The thought that they have to assist their son in most everyday tasks, the thing they find most disconcerting is the worry. Worry about the emotional health of their family. And this is why it's so important to keep communication open, kind, and respectful, to work together as a team, and to practice the principles of mindfulness and meditation that I'll share with you on the final video. Developing those new healthy habits will calm the fight or flight centers of the brain and strengthen the other parts of the brain that add in emotional regulation and decision making. Those principles are important, not just for you, but for your children to learn as well. And this mom recommends taking one day at a time and embrace the moment.